Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of Decking Around Reviewed. Today, we're going to be taking a look at Evolution of Magic from Shin Lim. Before we jump into it, make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel.
And please ring the bell.
The Evolution Magic Kit by Shin Lim is the most innovative and exciting magic kit on the market. Most magic kits put the focus on the toys in the kit and not the person performing them. Shin Lim has developed a magic kit focused on the beginner, which makes you the star of the show. So, as the name mentioned, this is a magic kit. It actually comes with a whole bunch of different tricks and gimmicks with it, as well as a really comprehensive tutorial. And it's geared, which I think is really cool, towards a beginner, while some of the gimmicks may be a little bit geared maybe towards kids because they're simple in what you would expect to find in a standard magic kit. The amount of extra stuff and value added into this just goes above and beyond what you would find in your standard off-the-shelf magic kit. With that in mind, it's obviously a physical purchase that you would receive and then a link to a download to watch the tutorial. And the price point on this is $49.95, which after looking at everything you get in this kit is an absolute steal.
Oh man, like I literally opened up the box and I was overwhelmed by the amount of things that came in this box.
Yeah.
I've never had a magic trick, so opening it up, I was, shocked, at the amount of things that were included. Being overwhelmed, I opened up the tutorial and I saw 2 hours and 21 minutes. And, I was kind of, not looking forward to that. But, right when I started, Shin is very energetic. He's fun to watch. He's charismatic. So it was pretty easy to go through.
Absolutely.
Another thing that really was helpful for me is, being a beginner magician myself. He had Casey Kathleen there. He was basically instructing on the gimmicks and tricks on how to do them. So, it was kind of like he was talking to someone else and showing the tricks. That way, if the person made the mistake right there, he kind of showed how to correct it,
Yeah.
which was, I thought, really cool and different than most tutorials.
Absolutely. And I think one of the really cool things about this too is just the breadth of material that's covered in it. So not only do you have card magic and coin magic and, a lot of the basic stuff you would expect to find in a beginner magic kit, but he really goes into some exceptionally, intermediate to advanced concepts like, how to make things vanish from your bare hands, how to make items float in the air, things like that, which you wouldn't normally see on a beginner magic kit that you would get for a kid. The other cool thing about that is not only does he go into how to use the gimmicks provided, but in a lot of cases, he actually goes into how to make those gimmicks yourself or where you can find the items necessary to replenish what you're looking to use in these routines. So it's really a very comprehensive kit and guide to becoming a beginner magician.
Yeah, and I mean, like you said, the tricks are definitely geared towards a beginner, but you can use the concepts to use, moving forward. It's definitely the ideas of the tricks are all the same based on, intermediate and, professional, but it's definitely just how it's applied. So, understanding, the beginning stages of that was definitely helpful. And I thought pretty unique.
Absolutely. And one of the other cool things that I thought came along with it, which, as you mentioned, there was a very long tutorial with it. The reason it was so long, too, is because he goes into such detail with everything, including actually performing two kind of full routines centered around some of the gimmicks and tricks that he teaches, and also encourages you to be creative with the way you use it. So, part of the thing that really stuck with me was he mentions like, hey, this is something I created for this tutorial. Don't feel like you have to use it word for word or act for act. Use what you've learned in this video to create your own routine and performance. So it's something that to me really stood out as a way to bring beginner magicians into the fold and teach them the basics that they need to know, but also showing them how to advance beyond that initial entry point.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. That was definitely my favorite section, talking about being your own magician and learning how to create these tricks, and one of the big things that, I really enjoyed was the fact that he went over all the things that could go wrong and how to fix them, that is obviously huge in a tutorial, and it definitely helps while you're creating it yourself. You kind of understand that before you even finish the video and try to figure it out on your own.
Absolutely. And I think, going to that as well, talking about some of the things that can go wrong, even in the tutorial, there were things that kind of didn't go as perfectly as you could tell he would have wanted, but he flowed with it. And I think that really shows how great of a performer he is because he just rolled with what was going on. And I think as a magician, that's something that you have to be cognizant of from the jump is things don't always go perfectly. And when they don't go perfectly, you can't panic. You just course correct and roll with it. And, parts of the tutorial, they weren't perfectly edited together, but it worked in such a way that it made it even more entertaining because it gave you an inside and personal look at Shin. It really made it seem like you had a personal tutor, and this was just a discussion between two people talking about magic and learning magic instead of being this perfectly produced piece of, video.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I mean, it definitely broke it up for me, getting a good laugh in between, sections and different things like that. Was really cool.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I thought the whole way it was performed really resonated very well, and I think it actually helped it make it be more ingestible and easier to pick up. This is something that, if you have a younger family member or friend who's looking to get into magic, this is an absolutely great way to bring them into it. And it's something that I think because it goes from really beginner to more advanced beginner concepts will also last a long time. It's not something that's going to catch their interest for a couple days and then, gets thrown in the corner and they forget about it, because there's so much to learn in this and so much creativity and being inspired because of it. It's something that's going to last for a while, which I think is really cool. And one of the interesting things about it, though, as we mentioned earlier, this is something that isn't just for kids. If you're a beginner, you could be, 50 years old looking to get into magic for the first time. It touches on concepts in a way that it's actually a learning experience. It's not solely geared towards children. So it makes it that in being older, you don't feel like you're watching, a cartoon made for kids. You're actually learning things as you go. And the concepts are probably some of the most valuable parts of this. While it includes gimmicks, the concepts behind it are things that I think every magician, professional to intermediate to beginner, still relies on to this day.
Yeah, and I mean that's just touching up on the kit itself.
Yeah.
That doesn't even dive into the 100 card tricks that are included as well.
Yeah.
There's so much knowledge in this kit that goes far beyond the $50 price tag.
Yeah.
I literally, if I didn't touch any of the gimmicks and I picked up the book, it's literally 100 card tricks that you can, I don't even know how long that would take to go through and perfect. And, it's definitely something that you can learn for quite some time.
And one of the best parts about it, you're learning from one of the biggest names in magic for this generation. I mean, for $49.95, you're literally getting an amazing experience learning magic from Shin Lim around every concept of magic. Again, it isn't just card magic like the book. It's the gimmicks, coin magic, levitation, so much to it. It's really so comprehensive and so much value in there for the price point. It really shocks me how much value you get out of this.
Yeah, I don't think, or I should say, I think, from beginner to intermediate should pick it up just to see how it's done.
Yeah.
Just to see how the tutorial's done, just to see how, what's included in the kit. And then I think you would definitely benefit from it, even being an intermediate magician.
Absolutely. No, I absolutely agree. I think the value on this is exponentially above what you're actually getting in the kit. This is something that if you took out each individual gimmick and tutorial and explanation, you'd be spending well over, $100 or probably significantly more. So to me, that starting price point for someone who's really interested in magic is such a benefit. And the cool thing about it, there's so many different things covered that there isn't, necessarily, if you're not into coin magic, you're not losing out on it because there's so many other things you could pick up in it. Yeah, so with that in mind, it's really something I would consider, like you said, for anywhere from beginner to intermediate with concepts that are going to benefit even a professional magician.
Oh.
And at a great price point.
Can't beat it. I definitely agree. Obviously, I recommend it. And, even if you're not into gimmicks and you're into just card tricks, it's 100 of them there for you.
Absolutely. Thanks everyone for checking out this episode of Decking Around Reviewed. Make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel and pick up Shin Lim's Evolution of Magic kit from your favorite Murphy's Magic retailer for $49.95.
Peace.